Hello and welcome to this edition of Peake Life. I'm Elizabeth Vaughn, and today I am here with Avis Hinton of the Planning Department. Avis, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
So I'm going to look down at my notes because we talked a lot before this. We're going to talk about some things that, admittedly, I don't totally understand. So that's why you're here. So you're the Community Development Administrator.
I am that.
Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the reason that we're talking today is that there's a survey out right now that we want all the residents of Chesapeake to take. Tell us a very brief overview of what this survey is.
Okay. Let me start by letting you know that the city is an entitlement community.
Okay.
And because of that, we're able to apply for funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And we can use those funds for programs and services and public improvements for our low to moderate income residents.
Okay.
In order to get those funds, though, there's always a catch.
You gotta work for the money.
Exactly. We have to submit a consolidated plan.
Okay.
And essentially, that plan is just an assessment of the city's needs and how the city is going to address those needs with the resources that we have on hand right now and those that we anticipate over a 5-year period.
That's like the perfect soundbite. I tell you what, we can't ask for anything more. So let's break it down a little bit.
Okay.
You say we're an entitlement city.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means that we have, according to census data that HUD has used, they use a formula to determine what cities, what localities are eligible to receive their funds. And so we are lucky enough to be one of those entitlement communities where we can apply directly to them to get funds for our programs.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And we've done this in years past, is that right?
We've been doing it since the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just because we've done it before doesn't always necessarily guarantee us the funds, is that correct?
Well,
so that's why we're going through
yes.
and we have to keep applying every year.
Absolutely.
Now, we were talking about the difference between kind of the 5-year plan and then annually you still have to, I guess, reapply or continue to apply for this money.
Yes.
Is that how it works?
Well, actually, the consolidated plan is what we plan to do over a 5-year period. And then we have to submit annual plans that cover 12 months in that 5-year period.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have a survey out right now that we're asking people to take that basically ask things in, is it 4 different categories?
Yes.
For the most part, we're talking human services, infrastructure, parks, and housing. So when people filter through this survey, they'll kind of be able to tell you guys what's most important to them.
Absolutely.
And then what do you use that information for? Like, tell me how you will deal with that information once the surveys are in.
Well, this tool, first of all, allows 2 things to happen. For us to get information directly from the citizens, because who better than them know what the needs are. The other thing, though, is that it gives them a voice in this process.
Yes.
You know, it allows them to participate in how these public funds will be used. So once we get the data from them, we're going to use that data to determine, first of all, to prioritize the needs based on the level of need, and also to determine how we're going to address those needs with the funds that we have.
So planning in general touches a lot of different parts of the city, kind of deciding the future, what goes where, you know, how we want to lead our city into the future. So once we get to the point saying that we get the funds, then will you guys start kind of handing out that money to the right location so that they can do the right thing with it, like say giving it to human services or public works for infrastructure? Like how does that part work?
Well, what happens is once we get the data and we do the analysis and then we come up with proposed activities to meet those needs, that has to go through City Council to be approved.
Okay.
And once that's approved, we submit our proposed plan to HUD.
Okay.
Once HUD approves it, then we can develop partnerships with folks in the community, our nonprofit organizations, our city departments, who have the capacity to provide the needs, provide the services, for the needs that we need to address.
Okay. So this is definitely, it's not going to be the last that people are hearing about it. There's going to be other opportunities for people to make their voice heard. And
absolutely. We're going to have public hearings. As a matter of fact, we have 2 public hearings that are scheduled for the first week in December. So that will be, there will be a public notice in the paper letting folks know exactly the dates, the time, and the locations.
And we'll make sure to publicize that here, of course, on WCTV.
That would be just
We will help you guys out with that.
Absolutely.
Avis, I feel like we've already covered a lot. What did we miss?
Well, I just want to encourage our citizens to take advantage of this opportunity to provide their input, because their voice is really important to us. And so I look forward to hearing about all the needs and the responses that I know our citizens will give us.
And so right now, the time to do that, or the way to do that, is to take the survey.
Take the survey.
I think we've linked to it on our city's website.
Yes.
Right, and anywhere that we push this video, we'll make sure to include a link right to that survey.
Sure.
Avis, thank you so much. This is really interesting stuff, and we're hoping that everybody's going to take advantage of this opportunity and get involved.
Thank you so much.
That does it for this episode of Peake Life. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.